Get ready to learn the top secrets and simple strategies for living the life of your dreams. Welcome to Living the Dream Podcast, where it's not just about achieving your goals in the future, it's about enjoying your journey along the way. Here are your hosts, Krista Joy and Christy Fredericks.
With so much going on in the world and report after report about the COVID-19 outbreak playing on television and social media, it's easy for anxiety to set in while you're self-quarantining. Remember, it's good to take time for yourself to give your brain a chance to process emotions and reset. So to help you do that, we've put together a list of 35 things to do during difficult times like this when you're social distancing.
As cliche as it sounds, the only thing we really can control is ourselves. So even in a world that's going crazy, what daily habits can we practice for a healthier life? Thankfully, there are a number of steps that you can take anytime, anywhere, free of charge, and often notice an immediate improvement. These will help you keep your joy during the journey, and they slip seamlessly into your schedule. And hey, if you do it right, even 3 minutes of devoted self-help can brighten your day.
All right. Well, Christy, let's take it from the top. I love your first tip, so let's get into it.
All right. Well, my first tip is exercise. So if you're a couch potato like me, you're going to definitely want to start slow. So this doesn't mean go run a marathon. This just means let's get off our couch a little bit and move around. So I downloaded this awesome app called Belly Fat. It's free of charge, and it's kind of cute. Gives you some little exercises to do. You know, give yourself a break, because I downloaded my app, got myself all psyched up, and I only did it one day. But that's okay. We got 35 steps here, so we don't have to do them all every single day.
It's all about the smallest steps. I love it.
Yes, but here and there. It can even be as simple as take a couple of canned goods out of your cabinet, and while you're sitting there binging your favorite Netflix show, use those canned goods as, simple hand weights. Do a few bicep curls. Every time there's a commercial on, walk around your couch, just anything to get the blood pumping and to not be sitting all day.
That's a fantastic tip. I love it. And the name of that app was the Belly Fat app, right?
Yes, Belly Fat. It is free of charge, and it's really fun because it has a lot of simple tips for you, and it actually does a countdown. And they're very simple exercises, from some jumping jacks, some high marching, walking in place. You don't need any equipment. You don't need any skills, which is great. So, it's called Lose Belly Fat.
Okay, great. I'm going to have to look that one up. Well, our second tip today, because we have 35, number 2, is meditate or pray. So depending on your belief system, for me personally, I know a lot of people, and I need to do this myself, but I know a lot of really close friends and even some of my celebrity friends that are really into a book called Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence. There's even scripture references. So it's really different and unique, and it's been really popular because what they say in the description is it's uniquely inspired treasures from heaven for every day of the year by missionary Sarah Young. And Jesus Calling is a devotional. It's filled with uniquely inspired treasures from heaven, like we said, for every day of the year. So after many years of writing in her prayer journal, missionary Sarah Young decided to listen to God with a pen in her hand, writing down whatever she believed he was trying to say to her. And it was awkward at first, but gradually her journaling changed from monologue to dialogue. She knew her writings were not inspired as the scripture is, but journaling helped her to grow closer to God. And others were blessed as she started sharing her writings until people all over the world were using her messages. And it's really neat because they're written from Jesus's point of view, and that's why they call it Jesus Calling. And it is Sarah's fervent prayer that our Savior may bless readers with his presence and his peace in ever deeper measure. I love that. We're going to put a link to Amazon where you can buy this book for yourself, Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence. Just my personal tip, because I know a lot of people use that book. But of course, there's millions of ways to meditate and pray in your own way. There's apps. There's the Calm app. Everybody sees that on TV now. Lots of great ideas for getting you started with that if you haven't already.
And it's such a great idea. For myself, I have a really hard time just settling down, settling my mind, stop the constant thinking. So anything like a journal like this, an app like you were talking about, something to give myself a thing to focus on rather than all the distractions that are constantly running around in my head, this would be an awesome thing. I will definitely have to check this out.
Yeah.
Thanks for that tip. Tip number 3 we have is to take a shower or bath. And for myself, this is kind of an everyday thing. I know that if I don't get up and immediately go from the bed to the shower, I feel like my whole day is, I don't know, it's just not right. I don't feel right. I feel just kind of stressed out. I feel like I'm sick because the only time I don't really go straight from bed to shower is if I'm sick. And so it just doesn't set me off in the right way. So I think it's just a great positive thing to kind of get up, take a shower, a bath, refresh yourself, and get going, even if you have nowhere you can technically go to. It's just a great way to get started.
Absolutely. And I know, Christy, we talked about this. You and I do some of our best thinking in the shower.
Absolutely. Shower thoughts. That's where I get all my inspiration. I have literally gotten inspiration for every single one of my books while in the shower. So it's kind of combining step 2 and 3. It's a nice place to really just calm your mind and meditate while you're showering. Taking a bath.
Yep. And I have some wonderful products that I want to recommend to men or women just to help you enjoy your shower and bath experience. So message me if you need information on that. Number 4, our 4th tip, check out online self-help tools. So I discovered this really cool website. It's taoconnect.org. And right now, if you go to taoconnect.org, there's a video right on the front page. It's about 9 minutes long, and I learned so much from taking 9 minutes to watch this thing. But just some highlights. One was about accepting anxiety as a normal response, especially during world times that we're going through right now. Another key is understanding and knowing your feelings are valid and allowing yourself to feel them without judging yourself. So that was a big one for me too, because I feel kind of pressured to stay positive and stay up a lot for other people, and sometimes I'll push my own feelings down, but truly it's to get yourself through something like this. It's okay to know your feelings are valid and allow yourself to feel them without judging yourself. Really good stuff. So I hope you'll check that out. That's just one website I found, taoconnect.org.
That sounds like a great tip. I'm definitely going to have to look into that because anxiety is an all-time high for everyone right now, and especially people like myself who already kind of run a little anxious. This is kind of one of my worst nightmares, so it's always great to have resources that we can turn to make us feel like, okay, we're not alone. There's a lot of people going through this. Our feelings are real. It's okay to feel this way. Just kind of let yourself feel it. Take some deep breaths. Just move through it. It's going to be okay. We can be positive on the other side.
Yes. And it's great to know we can take control. Like, people think that counseling and therapy is only for people that have insurance or that can afford it, but it's good to know there's online self-help tools that are absolutely free that we can reach out to.
Yes, that is awesome, especially now, like right now, where it would be difficult to go see someone, even if you could afford it or even if you did have the insurance.
So
it's really
true.
Nice to know that there are all these resources out here.
Yes. More than ever. So our tip number 5 is make art. How simple, easy. Who would have thought? I mean, you think about art as being for kids, but maybe you can draw, or you know how to sing, or you can knit or do ceramics at the house. For me personally, my art is creating live videos for Facebook, and I'm teaching women tips to look younger and more beautiful while in quarantine. And that's just my art, because I just feel like when we look good on the outside, we feel better on the inside. Even if we're not going out, we're getting ready for ourselves in the morning. So make art. Think about what you could do, maybe as a creative outlet right in your own home.
I love that. That is an awesome idea. And there's so many things that we can do. I know a lot of people may not feel like they have art supplies at home. There's so many things you can do with what you've got right in your house. You'll be surprised if you just Google YouTube and there are videos for everything under the sun. And it's so much fun. It's just fun to let your mind wander and be creative for a little bit, especially if that's not something you're accustomed to doing. It's a nice change of pace.
Yes.
Our next tip, number 6, is getting dressed up. And I know this is really funny, but we've all joked about how we have our daytime pajamas and our nighttime pajamas right now. And we kind of just go from one set to the other. In fact, the other day we had actually some warm weather here in Colorado. We're still in our snowy season, but we did have a nice day that broke into the 60s with some sun. So I put on a sundress, and I have 2 teenage boys, and they saw me and they're like, "Mom, where are you going? You're not allowed to go anywhere. What are you doing? Why do you have a dress on? What's happening? Is the quarantine over? Are we free? Can I go see my friends?" Like, no, settle down. It's just going to be a nice day outside. And so I wanted to, put on something other than my daytime jammies. And so it's amazing. It's kind of like getting up and taking the shower, just getting up and putting on real clothes, like you have somewhere to go, even if you have nowhere to go. It's kind of a nice way to get yourself up and going and motivated, and I love that feeling.
Yes.
So hopefully, I know it's snowing right now outside my window, but hopefully in a few days it'll be warm again, and I'm going to bust out another sundress.
It's hard to imagine. It's 90 degrees here in Florida where I live. It hit 90 yesterday, or 95. It was so hot. Ridiculous. So, but yeah,
yes, you're so lucky. Yeah, we got 6 inches of snow yesterday with another 8 coming in a couple days. So
it's all perspective, I guess. I would trade with you right now. I would totally trade with you. So, all right. Well, number 7, we have play music or listen to music. So, that's a given, but I want to let everybody know, if you don't know where to begin, maybe you don't typically listen to music at your house, you can email me and I will send you a couple of gospel tracks from Peter Alden's new album. He's my favorite singer in the whole world, and that will be my gift to you. So all you need to do is go on Facebook to Peter Alden Fans and soak in some of the hundreds of videos we have for you there. If you're on Facebook, you can look that up. It's some of the most fun and uplifting music for all ages. But if you're not on Facebook, email me anyway. If you'd like a couple of free gospel tracks, I'll be happy to send those to you.
And Peter Alden is awesome. Take my word for it. Love him. Great music. You will definitely enjoy it. Be sure to check that out. And free music, you can't pass that up. You got to take that up.
That's right.
The next tip we have for you, number 8, is give yourself a break from the news. And, honestly, I am not a big news person on, just in my normal routine. Don't watch a tremendous amount, maybe catch 15 minutes a day, a couple of times a week. But with everything that's going on, I kind of got into the habit of turning on these press conferences. And at first they were just, a short 30 minutes or so, but now they've become hours long. And the more of that negative, bad news and information that I consume, the darker it gets. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Honestly, there's not a lot happening from day to day. And, if there's something that I really need to know about, I get that, as we all do, like the alert comes through my phone. So when a stay-at-home order was issued, every phone in the house blasted telling us, gotta stay at home now. So that might be, a time to turn on the news, but sitting in front of it all day long is just such a downer. So if you feel like you have to watch it, just pick one news outlet, watch for 15 minutes or so, get the top headlines, and then shut it down. Really, within 24 hours, not too much happens. So definitely take that break.
Yeah, and if I could add one personal plea, please do not share news links on Facebook.
Yes.
If I want my news, I will go get it somewhere else. I feel like Facebook is a place to be social and be friends, and I've had to unfollow a lot of people because I can't have that stuff on my Facebook. So
yes, I feel like Facebook is not the place for anything newsy or political or anything like that. It's for like puppies and recipes and awesome photos.
Yes.
And funny videos and like having a good time. It's like a party. So I wouldn't bring my bad news or my political opinions to a party. So if you're not bringing it to a party, like, you don't have to bring it to Facebook.
Yes. Perfect example. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Well, number 9, that leads us to number 9. I mean, unless you have to for work or business or whatever, We want you to limit your time online as best you can, especially if you're going online for news or negativity or to look up current events. We want you to limit that time online and enjoy your family, enjoy something else if you can. Just remember to watch the clock, because the time can slip away really fast as we're online. So just be mindful about that and limit your time online.
Absolutely, and you're so right about time slipping away. And one way you can kind of help yourself with that is to set an alarm on your phone. Like if you're going to go online and just scroll aimlessly through social media or whatever you may be, before you even start scrolling, set yourself a little timer, 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to let myself have 15 minutes just randomly searching things on social media. And then once that timer goes off, put it down and just give yourself another break. Anything to free up your mind, give you space, it's always better.
Yeah.
Tip number 10, we have call a friend. And so, there's probably a lot of people, especially older people, that you may know right now that can't get out. I know that's the case for myself. My mom can't really get out. She lives in a place where they're kind of locked down and not really able to do a whole lot. So, and they're kind of back in the days of talking on the phone. So they're not, my mom doesn't necessarily text, get the concept of email, things like that. So it's kind of nice to pick up the phone, call a friend, and hear somebody's voice. And then when you're done talking to your friend, you might need to do number 11, which is put your phone down and take a break. Clear your mind, take some deep breaths, and just give yourself some no screen time. Just a little break from all the screens.
Oh, it can be so liberating sometimes. I've been known to give my husband my phone and say, I'm going to go take a nap. Just guard this while I take a nap. Because
exactly.
It removes the temptation to pick it up and scroll on Facebook. And if something major happens, he'll know because he'll have my phone. So, and sometimes that can just be so liberating to unplug for a little while. So that leads us to number 12. Maybe you need to find a new hobby. So this is a good time to ask yourself, what do you always wish you had time to do? Or what did you do when you were little that you really enjoyed? Why not pick that up again? If it's something you can do at home during quarantine, this is the perfect time to find a new hobby. Anything that, there's so many ideas on, just Google it. Hobbies that you can do from home. There's just a ton of things that'll pop up. And we hope that'll encourage you to find a new hobby, give you something new to think about while we're tied up at home right now.
And it's funny, once you start Googling new hobbies, you're going to find so many things that you want to do that you're not even going to have time to do them all. So
yes.
Make yourself a list and just get started. Try each one, and you may hit something that you love. So, and it could be a new lifelong hobby for you, which is always nice to have. Even in our busy times when things return to normal, it's always nice to have something outside of work and other obligations, just something for yourself. Then on to tip number 13, my lucky number. I love number 13. 13 is try a new recipe. So I am not a cook. I am not good at cooking, and I'm not good at shopping. But trying a new recipe can always be fun. So here in Colorado, I know people in some smaller towns that I know have said they're having no trouble finding ingredients for food and groceries. Here in Denver, every time I do my grocery order, I go to pick it up and they're out of like 20 or 30 things on my order. So you may find you've picked out this awesome new recipe, put all your ingredients on your shopping list, and you go pick up your grocery order. Oh no, you're missing half the ingredients. So no panic. You can do something like an episode of Chopped. Just go into your cabinet, pick 4 random things, and have a family member try to put together a new recipe from it. It's very interesting. It's fun to watch. You may or may not want to eat it, but it is definitely a fun game.
That's great.
That also leads into tip number 14, which is cook an old favorite. And I don't think there's any better time than now to bust out all your favorite dessert recipes and comfort foods. I feel like this is almost like Christmas again. So I'm really big on making like Christmas cookies, we're doing these cookie sandwiches right now. My kids love these, where it's basically chocolate chip cookies with frosting in the middle.
Oh.
And if you roll them on the sides, you can get sprinkles like on the sides and the frosting. And it's just a fun treat. I mean, they go on such a sugar high. They run around all spazzy for a little while, but, you know, why not? It's a nice treat.
It's a great idea. I love those. Well, for number 15, I feel like we probably need to do an entire episode on this, but briefly, we're going to talk about affirmations. Affirmations are so important. So what is that? So put simply, an affirmation is a short, powerful, and positive statement that helps you take conscious control of your thoughts. Things like, I am a money magnet. I find success in everything I do. I enjoy perfect health. So why is this important, you might ask? It's important because of the roughly 45,000 to 51,000 thoughts we have in a day. Around 80% could be negative. So worse yet, many of them are subconscious and we don't fully realize we're thinking them. So the solution then is retraining our minds to think positively on all levels, and that's where affirmations come in. Aside from helping you feel better, research suggests affirmations could lead to better heart health, boosted performance, and reduced chronic stress. So even taken at face value, affirmations force you to acknowledge the positive things in your life and feel gratitude for them. And that's never a bad idea. What could it hurt to try affirmations? Christy, I think we could do a whole episode on affirmations. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. So we definitely should do that. And, you know, there's just nothing like changing your thoughts from the negative to the positive. And it is amazing. I had no idea the 80% statistic, but I really do believe that. I mean, you become more mindful about what you're thinking every single day. It's really incredible. So when you start to have that negative feeling, if you can catch yourself and change that thought into one of these positive affirmations, it's really amazing. Just even in a 24-hour period, what a difference that can mean in how you're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then next up, tip 16 is engaging in an old hobby. So maybe you have an old favorite that you've kind of set aside because you've been busy with work and kids and other responsibilities, but it's so much fun to now pick up that old hobby that you used to enjoy. So especially if it's something you still have all of the equipment for, maybe you have an old dusty guitar sitting in a corner, you know, grab that and you can Google tabs and music, and so you can start playing again. There's a lot of places that are offering free lessons. Maybe you always like to draw. All you really need is a piece of paper and a pencil. You can, again, Google videos on how to draw like your favorite Disney characters and all sorts of fun stuff. Photography is another great one. Maybe you used to take photos all the time and used to travel, or when your kids were little and they let you take photos of them. Grab that phone and just start taking pictures again. It's so much fun to get your mind off of the negative things in the world right now and turn it on to something positive and fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, and tip number 17 we have for you is to write your feelings in a journal. So this is twofold, okay? This is a thing for me because this is something I really have always wanted to pick up again. When we were kids, we wrote in our diaries. As little girls, we had diaries. We put locks on them, you know, after we wrote in there. Now we tend to want to put our feelings out on Facebook, and I just, for everybody to see, it's just so funny. It's the total opposite of how we used to be. Maybe we can take that back. Maybe we could bring the diary back, the journaling back. So here's a little thing that I read. The University of Rochester Medical Center says journaling can help you feel better. It'll help you manage anxiety, reduce your stress, fight depression, help you prioritize problems and fears, deal with emotional triggers, and facilitate positive self-talk while identifying negativity. One study even found that after journaling about traumatic events, participants reported better physical health and fewer visits to the doctor. Can you imagine? So if you're concerned that you just can't get into journaling, know that there are different types, okay? There's gratitude journals. And if you want to do that, that could be a way to go. Or maybe if you're more of a bullet journal type of person, you could do that. There's really no rules. So again, Google is a great source. Find out what works for you. The different styles of journaling. Look that up. Pick one that feels right, and pick it and go with it and just get started. There's no better time than now to start journaling our feelings. What do you think, Christy?
I think that's an awesome idea. And like you said, rather than putting it out there on Facebook and then the next day regretting that you put it out there on Facebook, grab your piece of paper. And like you said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can simply just even do almost like a brainstorming session, like word bubbles, just doodle. Just if you feel angry, write down angry and just put scribbles and arrows and triangles and just start doodling. It doesn't even necessarily have to be so many words. It can be all sorts of things. And it feels so good to get those feelings out of your head onto paper, and then you can let them go. It's just another way of letting go of the negative and dark things that are happening in our time and in our minds right now, and allowing more space for the positive.
And while you got that paper out, I know you have a really good idea, your tip number 18.
Yes, while you've got that piece of paper, don't do the one where you've written angry thoughts and scribbles. Flip onto a new clean piece of paper, and tip number 18, write a letter to someone you care about. So, there's a lot of people out there who, may be in an area where, believe it or not, there are people who don't have Wi-Fi, and there's people who still don't text, don't email. So writing actual physical letter to someone that you love or care about and dropping that in the mail, what a nice surprise. It's almost like getting a gift. It is truly a gift. I used to send letters all the time to my grandma, both my grandmas, while they were still living. And, they didn't write back. They were older, and it was hard for them to write. But it was just, they just love hearing about what you might think are mundane, everyday things. Sometimes that's just fun for them to hear. Well, today we did the laundry, and then we sat outside in the sun, and we played a game of Monopoly, and one of my kids got mad and knocked the game board over. And it may just seem like an everyday occurrence in your house, but it's so much fun for people who maybe aren't getting out and about to get that nice special surprise from you.
I totally agree. And Christy and I, now we have you pretty much at a new desk with all your stationery, because our tipper number 19 is, why not recognize a birthday? I find so much joy in sending out birthday cards. With the profession I'm in, I manage an entertainer. So what we've done is we've collected all the birthdays of all of our people that follow him, friends and family on Facebook and all over the world, and I keep track of everybody's birthdays, and I send a birthday card to everybody every month, and the stack of birthday cards that go out of here are just incredible. But it actually blesses me big time. So if you've got people in your life that you really want to know, hey, when's your birthday? And put it in the calendar, send them a card. It's so uplifting. And sometimes, you know what? Yours might be the only birthday card they get. Or if you message them on Facebook or send them an email, that can mean a lot. Or call people, call them on their birthday. You'd be surprised what a difference that'll make. And it'll make you feel good too, and help you cope with this hard time that you're, blessing someone else.
And that it's such a great idea. And I know people are maybe thinking, well, I can't get out, to get a birthday card. What can I do? Take some of those other tips about making art and make someone a homemade card. Mm-hmm. To me, I still, my kids are teens, but I still tell them, you don't have to spend $5 on a card. I would much rather a homemade card. And they still, to this day, make me homemade Valentine's Day cards and birthday cards and Mother's Day cards. And I treasure those. Of some of the things that I keep through the years are those cute cards that they've made me. And it just shows like how much time and effort that you've put into it, where you've actually, created something for someone else. I love
that. That's great.
So going from there, we've got tip number 20, which is read a good book. And there are tons of good books out there. And I know people might reach for, a Stephen King or something, which on a regular day would be awesome. It's suspenseful and scary. But with so much suspenseful and scary stuff going on in our day-to-day existence right now, there's a lot of wonderful, fun, inspiring, motivational books out there. Some of the ones I just have sitting on my desk right now as we speak. I have The Wisdom of Walt by Jeffrey Barnes. If you don't know who that is, he's Dr. Disneyland, and he's written a couple of books. The Wisdom of Walt is the first one. And it's just a great motivational book that talks about Disneyland and kind of having a Disney life. So that's a fun one. I've also got How Happiness Happens and Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. So those are just some fun, uplifting, inspirational books, very positive to kind of get you in the right mindset and keep you going during difficult times.
That's a fantastic tip. And for someone like me that doesn't usually read, now is the time to take time and make that time to sit down and read, especially a book like Wisdom of Walt that is it's just made a sensation all over the world. And books are so readily available now with Amazon and Kindle and all of that. I love that tip. That's a really good one. So maybe while you're reading a book, you can use our tip number 21, which is pour yourself a nice cup of tea. So me personally, I'm a fan of iced tea. I can have iced tea all morning long and love that. But once in a great while, I can really appreciate a cup of hot tea. And I want to tell you about Christy and I have a mutual friend. Her name's Heidi Strasser, and she is a sipologist with Steeped Tea. Did you know this is a company? I didn't even know about this. So I know Heidi will love to talk to you about loose leaf tea, how many benefits it has, how fun it is to prepare. So we want you to look up mysteepedteaparty.com/Heidi Strasser. You can message us for a direct link to her. But what a wonderful time to be in the tea business. Sipping a cup of tea is so therapeutic. I mean, they've been drinking tea in China for thousands of years. So you know there's something to it. There's just something soothing. And especially if you're in a place like Christy is where it's snowing and cold outside, I could imagine a hot cup of tea would be so therapeutic right now, right?
Yes, absolutely. The hot tea on my snowy day today and basically all week, and then of course over the weekend on Saturday before the snow rolled in for Easter on Sunday, it was 70 degrees, so nice iced tea that day and then hot tea the next.
Mm-hmm.
Then coming up on tip 22, okay, this one speaks to me. Take some time to reorganize. I'm a little OCD, folks, and so I love being organized. I can be a little compulsive about it. So also sitting here on my desk along with my other books is Marie Kondo's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. If you haven't read it, or maybe check out her series on Netflix. She has a tidying up show on Netflix. I think there's about 6 episodes. There is just something so relaxing about watching her clean up what looks like a total train wreck into this beautifully organized closet. It's very therapeutic. And so I do have on my list of things to clean, specifically my closet. It is kind of messy, and so it's time for me to bust out the Marie Kondo book and go through it step by step. And it just, now's the time. We've got some extra time, and you don't have to go crazy. I know Marie Kondo mentions taking everything out and then, slowly putting things back in. If that's just too much and too overwhelming, I'm seriously into the one little step at a time. So I take maybe one drawer or one basket or, a quarter of the closet, and just little bites at a time, and it makes it more manageable rather than destroying my whole room at the same time.
I love that idea. Well, you got me excited about tidying up. I'm going to look her up. My goodness. But what happens to me, I'll tell myself one little drawer, and then the next thing I know, I'm working on the entire room. And that, but then you're so happy when it's done, and you sleep so good because you got lots of exercise.
Yes. And it's just, to me, I feel the same way with clutter. When my space is cluttered, then my mind is cluttered. And this is one of those times where there's just so much going on.
Yes.
That it's nice to declutter everything. Declutter your area, declutter your mind, so you're open and ready for positive and good, fun, happy thoughts.
Yes, I totally agree. That's a great one. Well, and number 23 leads me to hanging out with your pet. If you've got an animal at home, this would be a great time to do some training, to do some bonding time with your pet. I know a lot of people are fostering animals right now, because why not? We all have to be home anyway. Why not foster an animal? Our good friend Terry, I know she fosters kittens on a regular basis. So look into that. If you love animals and you're home and you're feeling lonely, you may want to foster a pet or hang out with your current pet. I know that your pet will enjoy that very much, and so will you.
Absolutely. And while you're hanging out with that puppy or kitten, we've got tip number 24, which is watch something new. So as we all know, we have a million streaming services right now, and there's tons of things available on Netflix, Disney Plus, all the great services out there. There's a lot of things that are new and exciting, and you might be one of those ones who've watched The Tiger King. I have not watched that yet. I'm looking for some fun, upbeat stuff to keep me in the right frame of mind right now. So I was watching High School Musical. I used to be in High School Musicals, so it appeals to me. But on Disney Plus, they have like a little, almost like a little sitcom, kind of a spinoff from the High School Musical movie franchise. And it's a TV show. It's funny, it's cute, it's lighthearted. Just on regular TV, I've been watching like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. Again, it's just a cute, fun show, lots of music. Anything that you can find that's fun and it just makes you happy when you watch it. It's a great thing to do right now.
That's a fantastic idea. Anything light and fun, which leads us to number 25, which is watch your favorite film or show. It might be time to rewatch some of those. Go into that DVD collection. If you still got DVDs, there's probably stuff in there that you haven't watched in a while that makes you smile, makes you happy. Why not pop it in the DVD player and watch it again? Make an event out of it. Popcorn, candy, whatever. Turn down the lights. Watch your favorite film or show. The series is the TV series now that you can get those on DVD even, or stream them, whatever. So we encourage you to do that. That's our number 25. And that goes into number 26, Christy.
Yes, it does, which is watch something funny. So again, there's lots of things out there to watch, but focusing on something funny will really turn your mind around, get you positive, get you thinking good thoughts. And so I kind of like to go back and watch some of the old classics and the old sitcoms, whether it be like the funny John Hughes 80s movies we all grew up with or watched, showed our kids later. Classic shows like Friends, The Big Bang Theory, New Girl, The Office, anything that maybe you missed the first time around. One of my favorites that just wrapped up, just watched the finale this month, was for Schitt's Creek. If you haven't seen that show, I so recommend it. It is hilarious. The first 5 seasons are on Netflix, and then you can watch season 6 on Pop if you have, whatever cable service or streaming service that you have. It's so funny, and it's lighthearted. You cannot watch that show and be sad. It's just too good.
Lots of great ones there. Well, our number 27 tip is to make a list of things you're grateful for. This is a wonderful thing to get into the habit of. If you can train your brain to cancel those negative thoughts that sometimes spiral out of control and we start feeling like a victim and all of that, if we can train our brain to stop there and replace that with gratefulness. So for me personally, it turns into prayer where I just begin thanking God for specific things to be grateful for. If you look even just for a minute, you can usually find something to be grateful for, no matter how big or small. Making a list takes it a step further, is what we're talking about in number 27. You could get out that sheet of paper, get out that journal, and start writing them down. So in the times when things are really dark and sad and you can't think of anything, let me go get my list. Let me go get my list so I can remember the things that I'm grateful for, and you might end up adding things to that list every day. So it's just a good habit to get into. Train your brain to be thankful and grateful, and maybe even make a list for the things you're grateful for.
And it's so amazing the difference. Like, I know so many of us go, okay, well, I'll just sit here and think about it. Yeah, I'm grateful for this. It is amazing the difference it makes when you actually take the time to physically write it down. Not type it in your computer, not put it in your phone, not just think about it in your head, but that physical act of writing it really helps with that connection of training your brain and creating that neural pathway to be really grateful and to change your mindset to where you actually are actively looking and focusing on things to be positive. So if in the morning you go, okay, well, tonight before I go to bed, I'm going to write down 10 things I'm going to be that I'm grateful for. So all day long, your focus is shifted on looking for those things. Okay, what do I see here? Oh, well, this is good. I really like this. I'm really grateful for the sun. I'm really grateful that I can see. I'm really grateful that I can smell the home-baked chocolate chip cookies that are in the oven. It can be something that small. It's amazing how many things there are out there.
Yes.
That we are blessed with. And that takes us to step number 28. So tip 28 is planning your next trip. Now, I know that we're all not unable to travel right now, and we're all kind of hanging out just wondering, when is that day going to come? When are we going to be able to travel again? But it is coming. Everything will be back to normal eventually. As they always say, this too shall pass. And so one of the things that's fun to do is think about where you will go once we are able to travel again. And for me, and I know Krista loves this place too, Disney World is one of my favorite things of all time. Part of that, I have a website and books that I write about traveling to Disney. So if Disney is on your radar and you want to start planning that next Walt Disney World vacation, you can check out and I'm still posting travel information because it is going to reopen eventually, over on DisneyWorldEnthusiast.com, or you can check out my book, 501 Ways to Make the Most of Your Walt Disney World Vacation, for when we get back there.
Yes, I absolutely want to second that because I have a Disney site too. But if you have never been to Disney, if you're thinking about taking your 20th trip to Disney, I don't care what it is, you need to run, don't walk, to DisneyWorldEnthusiast.com. Christy is up to date. She is up to date on all the latest information and news from the parks. And honestly, this is a great one to talk about because it's almost never too early to begin planning your Disney World vacation. It's gotten to a point where 6 months in advance, a year in advance is not too soon. With things like Fast Pass and extra magic hours and the perks you can get with staying on a resort versus not staying in a resort, it's really never too early to start planning your next Disney World vacation. So that leads us to her book as well, which you have to check out, 501 Ways. There's a link to her book on the website, so you can get it there. But just talk about tips. We're only doing 35 tips today, but this is 501 different ways to enjoy Disney, to plan your Disney trip, things that you can look forward to. It's just a great place to have your mind go to Disney World, even when you can't. So number 28 is a really good tip, I think.
Thanks. Yeah, my mind is often in Disney, even if I'm sitting in the cold and snow of Colorado.
Yes, mine too. Even if I'm already, even though it's 45 minutes away from me, my brain is already there. So speaking of which, number 29, our 29th tip is separate work from play. So this is more for the people that, if you're currently working from home, or if you're an entrepreneur like I am, or like Christy is, sometimes home and work can blend into one thing. So you want to be careful to schedule your work time and separate that from play time. So even though we're home, we want to schedule fun things to do. And especially if you have kids and family in your house during quarantine time, you want to schedule projects, schedule playtime. So it can be separate from that work time, because we don't want to fall into a situation where we're just working all the time. Because I have that situation where that's where I find comfort. So if I don't watch the clock sometimes, I can spend the whole day at the computer working. So just be careful to separate work and play, even when you're home. Right, Christy?
Absolutely. I'm the same way as you. I mean, my work is kind of my hobby and my comfort zone, and so I would do the exact same thing. Time slips away from me, and I just get so involved in what I'm doing. And I'm just finding right now, with my kids at home, they're doing, school from home right now, and I've always worked from home, again, like you, entrepreneur, so we work out of our houses. For me, because I have teens, they sleep in, and my work time is until noon, because that's when my kids get up. And so I get up early, I work until noon when they get up, and then that's when we kind of start our day. Their breakfast is my lunch, and we just kind of go from there. But it's kind of nice to make sure you keep those things separate. Otherwise, you could be working 24/7. So that takes us into tip 30, which is learn a new skill. So this kind of goes along with learning a new hobby, but this time this could actually be a skill that could make you some money. So, for myself as an entrepreneur, and Krista, I think you're the same way on some of these things. A lot of what I've learned on how to create my own website, marketing, how to do a lot of these things, I've learned on my own through YouTube. And during this time of quarantine, or time that you have to stay at home or kind of stuck at home, you can use this time potentially to learn a new skill that you could turn into a side gig and make some income. And whether that replaces your job ultimately, or if it's just a nice few extra $100 a month that you can use for a vacation or a new hobby, or something like that, you'll probably never have another opportunity like this, where so many companies are offering their classes for free. And take them up on it. Learn something new. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I'm in a couple of challenges that Michelle Cunningham put out into the world. There's a 21-day branding challenge, and then she has another course about broadcasting on Facebook Live for your business. And I have an affiliate link from her, so if you would like to check out her courses, let me know. I'll send you my affiliate link. It won't cost you any extra, but I'll get a couple bucks if you decide to sign up for her courses. They're amazing, wonderful, practical use for every day. But learn a new skill. That was number 30. So number 31, we want to encourage you to change up your routine. So it can be easy to get stuck in a rut right now. If you feel yourself falling into some bad habits, do a self-check. And you might want to switch up your routine so that you're doing some things that are better for you. So it's like you want to change up your routine and not get stuck in a rut. But at the same time, if it's helpful for you, you may want to set an alarm to start getting up in the morning the same time you were always getting up when you were going to work. Get dressed in the morning, as we talked about. Put on your makeup and do your hair. Come on over to my Facebook group. We'll do makeup together. Things like that. If you need to change up your routine, this is a wonderful time to go ahead and take charge and be intentional and do that for yourself. So that's tip number 31. And I love Christy's tip number 32.
Yes. So I am hopping onto your tip number 31 for a second. I completely agree with changing up your routine. But here's the important part. Keep a routine. Definitely, like Krista said, this is a great time to change it up. But that doesn't mean just like be on the couch forever now and have no structure whatsoever. It's so important to still have a routine, because otherwise you forget what day it is, and you forget what time it is, and you get lost.
Yeah.
And then on tip number 32, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful tip and something we should always remember and never forget, is to tell the people around us that we love them. None of us are guaranteed another day, another moment, even another breath. We never know what the future holds. And not to live in like this doom and gloom place, but it's always good to be so very grateful for everything that we have, and to let the people around us know that we love them, that we care about them, that we are grateful for them, and that we appreciate them.
Yes, absolutely. And number 33, find a way to help others. So just one idea I came up with is the restaurant gift cards. Right now, tons of restaurants are having great deals on gift cards, because gift cards are going to carry them through to another month. So I'd like to encourage you to find a mom and pop restaurant. It doesn't even have to be a big chain, but a mom and pop restaurant where you can buy a gift card. And guess what? If you buy it and give it to someone else, you get 2 blessings for the price of 1 because you're actually finding a way to bless someone else. Find a way to help others. I'm sure you can be creative. There's ways to help people no matter what situation you're in with technology and social media. Just about anybody can help somebody else. So think about how you can do that. It'll lift you up in return. And what's your tip number 34, Christy?
And number 34 is spend time with family if you're together. So if you are quarantining together or are under a stay-at-home order together, rather than everybody being holed up in their own little space and doing their own thing, and I get it, I've got teenagers, and so I know that they can live self-contained in their rooms with their friends and all their electronics for probably forever. But do have everybody at least come out some points during the day, play a game, do a puzzle, have a movie night like we were talking about, bust out that popcorn and candy and watch an old favorite, go through old photos and reminisce about old vacations and fun times. Just at least get together a little bit with your people that are in your home for a little while each day, whether it be for a meal or something. Just spend some time and enjoy this. We so rarely have downtime like this with our immediate families anymore, especially if you have children that are really involved in a lot of activities. I mean, when is the last time you all had this amount of time together? Just quality time, just you and your family. So definitely take advantage of it.
Yes, we can really turn this time into a blessing. Our last tip before the bonus tip, number 35, practice mindfulness. And this is a word that I throw around a lot, being intentional, being mindful. I looked it up and I found something really cool that I wanted to share with you guys. So mindfulness is simple. It means paying attention to what you're doing in that moment and being fully present. So for instance, when you're doing the dishes, you might zone out completely. But if you're mindful, you're noticing the warm water on your hands, the soapy suds, the squishiness of the sponge, and the sound of your grandmother's china when you drop it on the floor and it shatters into 4,000 pieces. No, but you probably heard of like mindful eating, where people pay attention and really pay attention to every bite they put in their mouth, things like that. So it makes for a better experience overall. And if it sounds trivial, it kind of does, but really it isn't. According to the Positive Psychology Program, practicing mindfulness can help you reduce stress and all the many side effects that stress causes, improve your memory, better deal with illness, recover from illness, fight depression, focus, balance your emotions better, reduce rumination, and improve your overall health. So things like deep breathing, meditation, affirmations, practicing mindfulness is a ridiculous easy way to improve your mental and physical health. And don't we all need that right now?
Yes, we absolutely do. And you're right. It sounds so simple but it's amazing what a difference something that simple makes in your everyday life. And then I know we've been through all 35 of our tips, but we have one more bonus tip for you. And this one's so important. Just remember, you're not alone in this. And if nothing else, Krista and I will be here with you to help encourage you, entertain, and inspire you throughout.
That's right. So what we're going to do now is recap all 35 tips in a super speedy progression so that you have it fresh in your mind when we end the show. So Chrissy's going to start with number 1.
Number 1, exercise.
2 is meditate and pray.
Number 3, take a shower or bath.
Number 4, check out online self-help tools. Number 5 is make art.
Number 6, get dressed up.
Number 7, play or listen to music.
Number 8, give yourself a break from the news.
Number 9, limit your time online.
Number 10, call a friend. Number 11, put down your phone.
Number 12, find a new hobby.
Number 13, try a new recipe. Or number 14, cook an old favorite.
15 is affirmations.
16, engage in an old hobby.
17, write your feelings in a journal.
18, write a letter to someone you care about.
19, recognize a birthday.
Number 20, read a good book.
Number 21, pour yourself a nice cup of tea.
Number 22, take some time to reorganize.
23, hang out with your pet.
Number 24, watch something new.
25, watch your favorite film or show.
Number 26, watch something funny.
27, make a list of things you're grateful for.
Number 28, plan your next trip.
29, don't forget to separate work from play.
Number 30, learn a new skill.
31, change up your routine.
32, tell the people you love that you love them.
33, find a way to help others.
34, spend time with family if you're together.
35, practice mindfulness. And our bonus tip for you, remember, you're not alone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Living the Dream podcast today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Living the Dream podcast, where we know the secret to living your dreams begins with the smallest steps that lead you to your essential joy. Contact information for Krista Joy can be found at disneyways.com/connect. Reach out to Christy Fredericks at smalleststeps.com/about. At Living the Dream podcast, we know it's not just about achieving your goals in the future, it's about enjoying your journey along the way. Music for today's episode was provided by Peter Alden's Kingdom Classics, now available for purchase on our website. This presentation represents the opinions of the hosts and guests of the show. Our show is informational and for entertainment purposes only. Always consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are our own. While we make every effort to ensure that the information we are sharing is accurate, we welcome your comments and suggestions.
Why don't we make